Hey, what's up guys? Nick here. Welcome back to Batman Arkham Asylum Remastered. And this is going to be the second to last video of the game, titled Poison Ivy. Pretty straightforward here. So we've already been to the Botanical Gardens once. That section was a bit longer. But now all we're doing is we're returning to take down Poison Ivy. And then once we finish her off, then we'll go on to the final video, which is the end of the game, taking down the Joker once and for all. So basically, this boss fight, I'd say it's pretty challenging. It's definitely more challenging than the final boss fight. But it's nothing that you can't get through based on the stuff you've already done in this game. It's very similar. If you remember Arkham City, perhaps you've played Arkham City recently, it's very similar to the Clayface boss fight. So if you remember in the Clayface boss fight, you constantly had to throw the freeze grenades at him. Basically the same thing here. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to constantly throw batarangs at her. And actually, I'm not going to talk too much about it right now because it would make more sense to talk about it when you're actually seeing me do what I'm doing. So yeah, only other thing you have to worry about here is the pods. So you just want to try to make sure you're going into this boss fight with full health. So try to take down these pods as safely as possible without getting hit by the spores. The Poison Ivy boss fight is going to have two waves, so she'll have like this bar of health, and basically you have to deplete the bar once and then deplete it again. And this is going to be kind of a key thing here. So you see, if you remember from the god-awful movie, which one was it, Batman and Robin? I think it was Batman and Robin, the one that had Poison Ivy and Robin in it. I always forget because I never remember the titles, mostly because I wish I could forget those films, but it's the one with George Clooney and Poison Ivy. And basically Poison Ivy, she can take over the minds of those men with her abilities, and so we're going to see that come into play in the boss fight here. But real quick, a cutscene.
Let you destroy it, Batman.
I told you to go to your cell.
I was a fool. I thought the plants were in pain. Now I realize they were evolving, growing stronger.
Cool, so here we go, ready to take on Poison Ivy. Right off the bat, all you're going to want to do here is throw batarangs. And I wanted to show you this part here. This is her main attack. These vines will come up from the ground here, and if you get caught in them, they can do a lot of damage. But so the main thing that you're going to see here is that I am constantly throwing batarangs, and then as soon as she shoots down those tentacles, that's when the vines will happen. Her other attack here is when she shoots these spores, and what you're going to want to do is in between spores, you're going to want to quick toss a batarang at her, because you can see here she opens up that casing. You quick fire a batarang, and then boom. So the biggest thing here is obviously just to kind of keep moving, keep throwing those batarangs. The spores can kind of do a lot of damage. Like you see, I'm already pretty low in health here. But then she's going to go back to doing the vines, and what you're going to want to notice is that this map is kind of divided into three sections. There's the right, the middle, and the left. Her tentacles will only ever go in two of those three sections, so right there I had to stay in the middle section to stay safe. Right here I'm going to jump to the right because I saw that her tentacles landed in the center and on the left, and then once that thing goes up, that's your sign to start rolling, and then in between, so right here, you're going to see. She throws one. I quick fire a batarang, then I roll out of the way. And that's the timing you're going to want to go for. Try to get off that batarang after the first spore is sent at you, and give yourself enough time to still jump out of the way of the second spore coming at you. And then of course you're going to need to dodge that giant stream right there. Then it's going to be just going back to the vines. And we're gonna repeat this process until we see her health go all the way down. And you see right now the white bar of her health is going down, but she still has that gray bar. And so what's gonna happen is once you take out the first bar of health, then we're going to go into the second wave, and the only difference in that wave is that now we're going to have henchmen to deal with. But once you deplete all that health, run up, take out your explosive gel, and spray it on this casing right here, and then Batman, I think he automatically, yeah, so Batman will automatically detonate it, and that's what brings us to the second wave. And it also gives you a lot of experience when you do that, and you'll see my health, I gained a lot of health right there. So even if you're low in health, don't worry, you should be able to gain a lot of it back once you do that. And so now you see the henchmen are going to start showing up. We're going to kind of follow the same strategy that we've been doing in the game so far. You're going to want to really not pay the henchmen that much attention. You're still going to want to try to just throw as many batarangs as you can. And what will happen here is what you're going to kind of want to do is stand for as long as you can in the section where the vines are, because then what will happen is you see that her henchmen will get caught in the vines. So you see here, they're on the right side, I'm jumping over to the left, and then all those henchmen caught in the middle, they're going to get caught up by those vines. And if you can time it correctly, you can actually make it so that all of the henchmen get caught by the vines, and then you're free to completely throw batarangs with no threat to you. But you see here how every free chance I get, I'm throwing batarangs. And that's because it makes this boss fight go by a lot faster. Because then you don't have to... well, yeah, kind of self-explanatory. It makes the boss fight go by a lot faster. So every free chance you get, make sure you're throwing batarangs. And then you can see here, all of her henchmen got caught in those vines, so I'm able to get off like 10 batarangs without any threat to me. And now I'm doing the same thing. I'm not even trying to knock out the henchmen. I'm just jumping over them, evading their attacks, countering their attacks, and then throwing those batarangs. Now eventually she'll go back to this method here where she's throwing the spores, and now it's just kind of rinse and repeat. You're just going to try to throw off a batarang after the first spore. When she opens that casing, you'll do a lot of damage, and then yeah, you just got to keep dodging. So the biggest key to this boss fight here is just really always keep rolling. You always have to dodge the spores or the vines or the henchmen. But right here I'm using this little gap in time to throw off as many batarangs as I can. Now more henchmen are going to spawn, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to purposely try to trap them in the vines, and then I'm going to use that opportunity to throw off as many batarangs as I can. And yeah, that's really all there is to it. Eventually she will drop down once her health goes back down, and you'll be able to do the explosive gel for a second time, and that will cue the end of the boss fight, and it will trigger a cutscene. And then that's going to be the end of this video, and I'll see you in the final video of the playlist where we take down the Joker. So I'm just going to real quick, because we're nearing the end of the boss fight, thank you guys for watching. I hope this walkthrough helped you get through the boss fight. Remember those tips of not really focusing on fighting the henchmen, but actually using them as a source of evasion so that you can get away from the vines quicker. And then boom, all the henchmen right now are trapped in the vines, so you can use that opportunity to throw as many batarangs as you can. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope this helped you. If it did, show some support, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment below letting me know what you thought of the video, and you know, if you want to stay tuned for future videos, feel free to subscribe. At the time of recording this, I'm getting really close to 400, so that's kind of a big deal. I would say that 500 is like the second big milestone after 100, so that's pretty exciting. But yeah, so you see here, it just goes back to doing the spores. Thanks guys, I'll see you in the next video.